little squirrel. Oh, little squirrel, what are you doing, you psycho? Morning. Oh, okay. Be rude then. Y'all just mad because you don't got engines in those bikes. Sheesh. How you not gonna wave back? That is so rude. Alright guys, today I'm going to be talking about why I chose the Harley Davidson Riding Academy. So basically, when I decided that I wanted to ride a motorcycle or start to learn how to ride a motorcycle, I decided that I wanted to do things the right way, quote unquote. I mean, that could be interpreted differently for every single individual out there. But for me, the right way was going out, getting a good basis learning foundation, seeing if I enjoyed it. If I did, buy a bike and then learn slowly, gradually on my own. So the way that Texas works as far as getting your motorcycle license, or as far as obtaining your motorcycle license or your M endorsement on your actual license, is they require you to do a MSF class. You basically take your certificate of the class to the DMV, and from then on they give you endorsement. That's literally it. It's not that hard. So when I started looking for a class, you know, I knew what kind of bike I wanted going into it. I wanted a cruiser style bike, and I actually wanted a Harley Davidson. I know that everybody's like, well, you're just following into the same cliche, like you think Harley Davidson is amazing. Listen, it's my opinion, it's gonna be my bike, so I was just gonna choose, you know. I didn't know that there was a whole world of like Triumph and Honda and all that. I did, but I chose that I wanted to learn on Harley, which is my prerogative to do. So anyways, when I was looking for the classes, of course, you know, you're always wanting to look for what's the better deal price wise. And for Harley, there was a big price point on that class. It was basically you're paying $295 is what the usual price is for the Riding Academy here closest to me. And when I started to look at the other classes, I saw classes for $150, I saw classes for $88, I saw Groupon classes. I mean, but I don't want a Groupon education, and I'm not saying that if you put your business on Groupon that you're horrible. I'm not saying that at all. But for me, I wanted quality. And growing up, growing up just seen from ads or whatever, I thought that Harley was a quality. So I basically, for the first few months I waited, you know, I was watching videos. I just wanted to go out there and practice. Like I was so ready. And then at the beginning of the year of 2020, I saw that Harley Davidson does a promotion, because basically everybody spends their money on Christmas and Christmas shopping and holidays. So what they do is they do the Riding Academy for $195 opposed to $295. So I was like, you know what? This is great. It's $200. If it's a bus, it's a bus. And at best, I get exactly what I wanted. At worst, I spent $200 and got to ride a motorcycle. It's still a win-win for me. So with Harley, what they expect you to take to class on your own is they tell you that you need a helmet, you need gloves, you need boots, and you need a long sleeve t-shirt or a jacket. They basically just don't want you going to class looking like a squid. They don't want you wearing flip-flops, they don't want you in short shorts. You know, you can take pictures for IG on that, but don't show up to class looking like that. So I got my helmet. No, I didn't get a helmet, because when I looked at the reviews, they said that they would loan you a helmet if you needed one. So I didn't want to purchase a helmet yet, because I don't want to be too much. I don't want to have too much money invested and tied up in something that I'm probably not going to like if I don't like it. So you go online, you look at the schedule, and for me, I work a regular job, so a 40-hour work week, just the work days, business days. And so I needed the weekend course. So the weekend course consists of Friday afternoon from 6, I believe, to 9 or 10, and then 6 p.m. to 10. And then Saturday you go, and it's about 7, I think, 7 to 5 or 7 to 4. And Sunday, same thing, 7 to 4. So I was like, okay, this will be perfect for me. You know, it's a whole weekend, and it's a whole immersion experience. For those of you who might not need the weekend schedule, what you're looking at is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday if you're from Texas. Tuesday all day, Wednesday all day, Thursday all day, I believe. Goodness. Gotta move over for a biker. So, anyways, I did the weekend course because that's what fit me. So you go in on Friday, and on Friday you basically just get a quick synopsis of everything. They take you around the dealership, you know, get you to meet all the people, the service department, the clothing department, or the apparel department, and you see these beautiful bikes, you know, nothing that I could afford, of course, but they're just so sexy. Start imagining myself like, man, on that bike, it'd be great just cruising down the road. This one has speakers. Like, get way ahead of yourself. And I think they do that on purpose, which is perfect, you know, the business. Anyways, so I ended up going, and then as soon as you finished your tour, you go into the classroom. And so when you go into the classroom, they basically just start confirming that you actually did your online course. So they're basically just making sure that you actually did the MSF course online that they sent you beforehand, which is included in your fees. So you have to do the course, which is a good thing. They include it, they send it to you, whatever. So they make sure that you actually did your online course, making sure you have some common sense, that you're not going to be a threat to your course instructors or your fellow students and the bike and yourself, of course. So after they do that, you know, you go home, you're ready to ride. So you show up on Saturday, and it's literally, you get there 7 o'clock, and you're on the bikes. So you go, you get your bike, you put your name on the bike. They have a little nameplate on the front. You put your name on the bike. That's going to be your bike for the weekend. They show you, you know, everything that you were learning just on the physical form, instead of a 2D picture of a bike that's a 3D model or real bike. So they show you, of course, where the brake, where the clutch is, your brakes, your shifter, gas cap, your gauges, what it means. From then on, you start doing drills. So starting, you know, they show you how to properly mount the bike. I'm not going to really get into the true logistics. They show you how to properly mount the bike, sit on the bike. And that was my point where I was like, you know what, maybe I'm not cut out to do this. Because the moment that I picked up the bike, it was just like, oh my gosh, this thing is tremendously heavy. There is no way I'm going to be cruising down the big streets or the streets of my big city on this bike. You know, I am going to get creamed for sure. There's no way I can handle this. Don't let that intimidate you, because standing weight of the bike is different than the bike in motion. You know, it gets better is what all I'm going to tell you. From then on, so when you sit on the bike, I was completely terrified. I was like, all right, this is a game changer for me. It's not going to be just a quick, fun time. But so while I'm scared, they let us turn on the bike, and once you feel the rev of the engine, like, they let you hold down your clutch or make sure you're in neutral, and they let you rev that engine one good time, and you're like, oh yeah, you could cue the rock music, like, you're just ready to go, you know. And so from then on is when they start letting you do simple exercises. So of course they make you walk the bike. So that's the thing that I say about Harley is really great, is that they instilled in me a healthy respect for the bike, you know, by taking me from baby steps, absolutely plaino. I have no knowledge whatsoever about a motorcycle. They don't make you feel uncomfortable. They let you learn at a beginner's pace, which for the more advanced people or the people who had been riding was probably really boring, but I'm sure they learned some things, which in my class there was literally two extremes. There was the extreme of, like me, have absolutely no knowledge of ever riding a motorcycle. Hold on, dude. And then the other one was they had been riding for 20 plus, 30 plus years, which, I mean, as a beginner, that's very intimidating. Going into a class, you're like, man, these guys are just gonna have no patience for me. But it was a really good course. So basically, let me turn here safely. I'll stop talking so I can concentrate, because I'm still a noob at this. So basically, like I said, we had the professional riders and then us, the newbies. And for the I'm completely happy with the way that they presented the material. I didn't feel uncomfortable. The instructors let you run through the objectives in the course over and over and over again, just to make sure everybody was up to par or subpar. No, I'm just kidding. And then they moved on to the next one, which was amazing. Like I said, for me, I'm sure the advanced riders were a little bit bored, but of course, always going back to the basics of something is never a bad idea. So after that, you pretty much spend the whole day on the bike, or the whole morning on the bike, and then you go in and you do your course material as far as the book work, and you look at slides, and they ask you questions, making sure you can understand the concept of riding a motorcycle in urban situations, which for us, I mean, it's good because for the most part we're on city streets. So day 2, you go in, and so with us, we were ahead of our curriculum. So what the instructor did was they asked us if we wanted to take the written test early. And of course we said, yeah, like if it would save us time on the next day, then we'll definitely take the written test. So we did. We took the written test, and that was your cue to leave, so you take your test, you turn it in, and you can leave. So the next day you show up and they tell you, like, we're gonna do some practices, and then we're gonna take the actual driving portion. And so that was the biggest thing that I was afraid of, and a lot of people in my class were afraid of as well. A lot of us newbies, we didn't want to take it. Unfortunately, like a test, you kind of have to, So it's a test that you have to take, necessary evil. So you practice more, they go over more in depth, and basically what you're learning on those days on the range is like how to stop correctly, how to swerve correctly, how to churn correctly, which I'm probably not going to show you the correct way right now. But they make sure you know how to navigate with the bike. Turn signal, and don't go into neutral. All right, so they show you all that just so you get a good basis and understanding. So on the day of the driving test, they make sure you're relaxed. They make sure you're nice and relaxed. They're very I can never compliment Harley enough, for everything that they do in the course is just great. It's amazing, the way that they take the time to make sure you have a good understanding of the bike and what to anticipate, which is great because you don't want to sell your beautiful machines that you guys have built and you market to a bunch of idiots. That's a great strategy by Harley. So anyways, on the day of the day of the riding, they make sure you're nice and loose. You've already practicing, and it's only like 8 objectives that you have to complete that we have definitely gone over in the days. You have definitely gone over everything that they're going to test you on. So you're not going to go into it feeling completely unprepared. And of course it's scary. I was scared going into the test. Goodness, get my turn signal on. I was scared going into the test, as were a lot of the other people in the there was 9 of us, so it was 2 people at my table that I had gotten comfortable with, that we were talking about everything. One girl had previously been there before and she didn't pass. She was like a 17-year-old, and her dad rode. She didn't pass the first time, so they brought her back the second time. So she kind of had a good knowledge of what we were going to do. She kind of knew and what to expect or whatever. So anyways, you go into it, and the test is fairly simple if you had paid attention to everything that you were doing on the range. If you had asked your instructors, or it was fairly simple. It was everything you had learned. Don't think that they're just going to throw you into, teach you just a little small portion and then they test you on all of this. It's not like that at all. They literally test you on basic stuff. And so after that, you get your certificate. Once they reveal your written test scores, you get your certificate. Got 100, by the way. Little squirrel. Oh, little squirrel, what are you doing, you psycho? Morning. Oh, okay. Be rude then. Y'all just mad because you don't got engines in those bikes. Sheesh. How are you not going to wave back? That is so rude. Anyways. Oh, goodness. Oh, I'm such a noob. Like, every time I feel like I am doing good, like last weekend I had a great ride. I felt like I was doing decent. I got back on the bike today and I feel like it's day one. Like, I haven't stalled her out yet. Like, knock on wood, I'm knocking on my head. But I have not stalled her out, but today has been horrible. It has been so bad. Maybe it's because I'm distracted and talking. Like, I guess I can use that as an excuse, but goodness, like, oh my gosh. And I guess you're gonna have days like that, you know. At the end of the day, all I can tell you, for the Harley Davidson Riding Academy, I'm not being paid to say any of this, which I wish I would, to get a lot of money or some kind of money, but I'm not. I'm purely doing this for just to put out my opinion, and if you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. That's great, you know. But for the only con that I had was a price point. But then again, you factor in everything that goes into the class. You know, they have to pay the instructors, they have to purchase your reading material, and they make like the little videos, so production cost goes into that. They have to, of course, put gas in the bikes. They have to buy you helmets, because ours, we were able to borrow them. Thought I heard a motorcycle. I thought I heard a cop. So if you think about all that, like, you're definitely getting, I honestly, I dropped $200 and it was not a waste at all. It was not a waste, in my opinion. I learned everything that I was comfortable enough with to learn to actually, you know, want to ride and want to continue. Even though you do get discouraged sometimes, like I said, like, I was one of the lowest ones in the class. Like, I was repeatedly stalling out the bike, and, you know, it's to be expected from a beginner. And I know I probably got my instructors a little frustrated, but at the end of the day, persistence is the key. Persistence and consistency. You have to, like I've said before, what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So if you put in 30 minutes, don't expect to be an expert in a week. If you're putting like 2 to 3 hours a day, then in a week you're going to be a lot further than you were if you just put in 30 minutes. And thinking about it does not count. Practicing the movements with your hands is definitely a practice, though. Be sitting at home, releasing the clutch and rolling on throttle, and it's definitely a practice. Oh man. But at the end of the day, my only con I have was price point. Like I've explained, I see where the necessary costs came from. And the pros are, you know, I learned how to ride on a Harley. The first bike I sat on was a Harley, and I enjoyed it. You know, I really enjoyed it. I had a really good time. They provide you lunch, like the second day they give you lunch. You know, like they take care of you. They don't make it seem like they're untouchable. Like, you could definitely go. If you have questions, you can ask. Like I've said, don't be the person who asks the stupidest questions in the class. Like, don't be that person who just wants to ask questions just so they can hear themselves talk. You know, nobody wants to hear that person. Nobody wants to hear your question. You know, if you have a question, have it truly because you literally have a question. Don't do it because you want attention. And there's people out there. I hate going in classroom settings sometimes as an adult. Like when I had to take my defensive driving class years ago. Anything in a classroom setting, I'm like, there's always that one person. And if you don't know the person I'm talking about, don't be asking unnecessary questions because it's probably you. I understand there's real questions that people have, but just don't be that person. All right, guys. Thanks for sticking around and watching me fumble through this video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content, hit the like button. If you want more content, subscribe, and I'll definitely keep the videos coming. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, rest of your week. But stay safe and rubber side down. Deuces.